Welcome to Life Unconventional. Follow along as we share our week full of lots of things going wrong in the RV life. Stay tuned. What did you say?
I think we do a hydraulic line on the jacks. Change these out real quick. That should be really fun. Yeah.
Look at this.
Look over here. Hey all, I'm Jason.
I'm Megan.
And this is Life Unconventional. So we're going to go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit about our first full month on the road RVing as full-timers. And we've had some incredible experiences so far, everything that's lived up to, and then we've had some, let's say, not so hot experiences for the most part. I do want to make a quick note. As you guys will see, we had a little bit of an incident where we had our jacks come all the way up, right? And the back tires completely came off the ground.
We're having leveling issues. Back tires are literally off the ground.
So I had to go outside. I checked the hydraulic jack, and when I opened it up as a first-time RVer, I just saw red fluid everywhere. So it wasn't dripping, and I made note that it seemed dry, and I had ran my finger over it. Well, we did have a mechanic come out and take a look as we're here at our current spot. And it's actually corrosion fluid that they put all over everything. So, which is a huge relief to us because I checked all the hoses and I didn't end up seeing any leaks. It wasn't spitting no hydraulic fluid, but I just couldn't really understand what all that red fluid was throughout the cabinet. So that's what it was. So we are happy to report that it is not hydraulic fluid and we did not spring the leak. So we'll make that note for you guys there. We ended up moving and selling our home full time. What?
About a month ago.
And sold our home, 5,000 square foot house to move into
300 square.
Had incredible experiences, but also too a couple bumps in the road. And I'll let you kind of speak a little bit to what the experiences have been for the most part, and then really how kind of what your expectations would be, right? You know, you come into this, we prepared for how long?
We watched other full-time RVers for probably 5 years.
Yep.
And we've already in the first month ran into several instances that we were not prepared for, that we thought we were prepared for everything.
Right. And that's the thing, you can't really prepare. It doesn't matter how many videos you watch, and everybody has their own experiences, right? And a lot of stuff you'll see, and they even tell you too, it's a lot of the highlight reels. And obviously with Life Unconventional, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to be showing you guys everything really in a reality format of, you know, some of the boring, some of the fun, some of the excitement, some of the not so excitement, things that can happen. But really just what RV life really is all about, because that was the big, I don't want to say misconception, but really the big eye-opener for us when we got out here, even just within 1 month of doing this. And our circumstances are a little bit different because we travel a lot for work, so we have to be in certain areas at certain times. But for the most part, you see a lot of the high rate reels, and really kind of what we've experienced in obviously the first couple months is a lot of just trying to get it figured out. So that's really what you guys are going to end up seeing today. Yeah, go ahead and tell them a little bit about the some of the experiences that we've kind of ran into, a little bit unexpected.
Well, actually, one of the biggest things that we run into a lot is gas at the gas pumps. That's not really something we ever...
That's a good one.
We never really heard anybody talk about it. You know, you always see the diesels, and they pull into the diesel pumps, and they pull right back out, and they're on their way. Yeah. Well, that wasn't something that we took into consideration when buying our motorhome, and we bought a gas.
Yeah, never even thought about it. Not even close.
Here we are with our 37-foot motorhome, a Tahoe behind it, trying to pull into regular gas pumps.
Yeah.
So let's just say we have to strategically plan where we stop.
Right. And it can be, so a lot of times, I will let you know, it kind of will pucker the butt a little bit, just saying. And, you know, I'd say the first couple times, you're eyeballing it, you're like, there is just no way this is going to happen. And probably about by the 5th time, the man ego kicks in and says, I can make that. Now, that's not the best decision every time, right? We all know that, men. So, luckily, it hasn't backfired on us just yet, and we have been able to get in and get out. And as we go along the process, obviously, all these ideas come to us like, oh my gosh, why isn't there an app? And I know there are some that tells you like best places to sleep and best places to get gas and where you can get gas. And yes, we have Gas Buddy and we have RV Life and we have our phone's pretty much full.
We do RV Parky, but it doesn't tell you how big the gas station is, right? It says where it is. We don't know if we're going to fit into it or not.
Exactly. So what do? We look up the satellite.
We get the satellite view, look at the map of it.
Yeah.
Does it look like we're gonna fit? Yes, no. We kind of go
Exactly.
based off that. There's been a couple times where it looks like we would. We got there and no, not so much.
We pray that the satellite image isn't from 1999, and they've done some upgrades since then. So
well, we've had to take a few detours.
yes, and we took a detour one time that brought us down probably a 10-foot wide road, and we have about 50 foot combined with the RV and the pull along. So
It's probably a bike path.
Yes, I think it was a bike path. Thank God nobody got killed.
So one of these that we found is trip planning. A lot of times we'll travel one trip is 11 or 1,200 miles for us. So of course we're traveling. It takes us usually 2.5 full days of traveling. We don't always plan our nighttime stops enough in advance. So, for instance, a couple weeks ago, we had to try 2 different Cracker Barrels, a Walmart.
What highway was that? That was coming from New Hampshire down to. Never mind the fact that we had to take like 9 detours, but we ended up going on to, was it 70?
I don't remember what the route was. But
yeah, we'll put it in the description.
It took us a long time to find somewhere to actually park for the night.
Yep.
We are actually finding that rest stops right off the highway are your best bet.
Yep.
There is a route traveling from New Hampshire to Kansas where they get a little sparse. You might have a hard time finding one, but
we're not talking every 70 miles, every 100 miles you'll find a rest stop. We're talking a couple states you're not finding them at all on this one highway. We got to pull it up and we'll let you guys know. But that's been the saving grace, really, because we used to do the Cracker Barrels all the time. We still will.
Yeah, but you get off the highway and you're going into some small towns, small turns. You get to the Cracker Barrel. There sometimes isn't a spot for you there. You have to turn around, get back on the highway. So we're finding the rest stops are much easier access. You're in, you're out, and you're not having to get off and travel through small towns.
Exactly. Yeah, so, and that's the thing you got to really know, at least coming into this, my mindset was, hey, we'll park right behind Cracker Barrels. It's nice. We can stay there. Yes, you can get to them. But for me personally, I never driven anything larger than an SUV, nor have I ever towed anything. So we just dove right into this one, got 37 foot, and then decided to tack on a Tahoe behind it, and really just kind of crossed our fingers. So honestly, it really has been great. Hasn't been bad at all. It's like driving a big U-Haul is what it feels like. But for the most part, when you're going into them small towns, or you're going into where a Cracker Barrel is, or you're trying to get in, we tried to get into a Walmart one time. There's some small little tight turns that they have just to get into the parking lot itself that, other cars, they're doing their thing, and they don't know that, you're going to end up clipping the front end of their car if they don't back up. So that's a lot we've been running into. So rest stops are the best.
Keep in mind, if you are planning rest stops, you cannot overnight in a few states I do know off the top. South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and
New York.
No, you can in New York. I want to say Illinois maybe is another one that you cannot. But there's a handful you cannot overnight in, so you definitely want to look those up ahead of time.
Yeah, and you can look them up. There'll be she'll put the link down below that you can click on if you are on the road and you want to look them up. There's a whole list, and it tells you exactly which ones you can. Some are time restricted, but I mean,
it's very few.
There's not a lot of rest stop police that would come knocking on. Pennsylvania, there is rest stop police.
Yes.
And they will come knock on your rig. We watched them do it to a truck driver who, for some reason, the truck drivers love to sleep on the side of the on and off ramp. I don't know what that's about. But they do that mainly probably because it's easy access to just get up and go. But the dude definitely jumped right up there, knocked on his door, and told him, you need to get moving. Doesn't happen at all of them, but in Pennsylvania, it definitely did happen there. So what are some of the fun struggles that we decided to encounter? I'd say the learning lessons that we had.
Besides those two things, I think everything's been great. We did have one instance where we didn't have a direct sewer hookup. So we had to, move the RV once every couple of days to empty the gray tank.
Yep.
Which was, a little bit of a pain, but nothing that was a big deal.
Yeah. So overall, it's actually been a really good experience. I mean, you guys will be able to see some of the fun adventures that we encountered, which you're going to do when you get into this RV lifestyle. And that's what makes it all exciting and interesting. And one of the big things people always ask us, like, oh my gosh, you guys went from such a large home with a family of 4 to 300 square foot, and you're traveling around, you're staying in truck stops, right? And you're staying in Flying J's, and what does that look like to you? And how does that end up feeling? And one of the things I always tell them that really came to us that was a surprise is it doesn't really matter where we're parked, because the minute we drop our slides or put our slides on, the minute we drop our blinds, it's home. And you forget really what's all around you. Now, obviously, you want your blinds up, and if you got that great mountain view, that's perfect. But if you don't, you still are always in your own home. And traveling for work a lot, we stayed in a lot of hotels, and that was always just that really uncomfortable, unhomey feeling. And you keep that main top sheet on there. You don't slide your feet under it. You don't walk on the carpets without socks on, and it's just all that fun stuff you got to deal with when you stay in hotels. And now being able to have your home with you wherever you go, that's been one of the greatest parts, I think, about RVing. So, and having this be our home.
We had rain for days and days. With all of the rain, we discovered that we had a leak under our slide. Not going to stay here. If we can even get out. There was just no way that we could stay at this campground. We had to be in the Northeast for a few days for a work client of Jason's, and there were no other campgrounds in the area open yet for the season. Good trip so far.
Good trip. So what happens when you got a good boss that has a really big parking lot. Go ahead and get this all set up. So we're just gonna fill up the fresh water tank right now. So this should be interesting. So currently we're, I guess we can call it boondocking, whatever you want to call it. But I'm at my workplace, and gracious enough to let us stay in the parking lot. It's a huge parking lot, so it's great. We're able to go all back there. Problem is, obviously it's not full hookups. But what we're doing is we have water hookup. We will be getting electrical. We're running a 50 amp here, so that's super cool. The only thing is going to be the dump station, right? So what we got to do, we got to pull the cap up. Once we get this thing lifted, then we're literally just going to dump right in. Now we're going to spare you guys. I'm not going to show you guys the dump, but we're going to go ahead and get this thing lifted real quick. So.
Don't worry, this is a private septic. How much does that thing weigh?
250. Over here, baby. So, we're gonna go ahead, pull it a little bit because we really don't need all of it open. So I'm just gonna slide it. Throw it there. That way we don't need to expose all of it, love. Yes. So that should be a good shot. And I'll already change these out real quick. That should be really fun. So we'll put these on just so that just in case, right? But now don't have any splatter, so that's good. See that? Got it.
We're having leveling issues. Back tires are literally off the ground. Now we ran into an issue where our auto leveling system was not working properly and we were not able to retract our jacks to get the RV leveled out.
So what they're saying is that someone said the same thing happened to them. And like I cycled through the menu, voltage reading is 13.6, which is plenty. I tried plugging it into shore power, also the generator. So some people said it was when they
Plug it into the power?
plugged in. So as I was looking, I noticed that this here, there was a red flag popped out, and on it said reset. So what I did is I just took the switch, tucked it back in there, and obviously it took care of the problem. But obviously having this red fluid in here, appreciate you guys watching our channel, and definitely hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and join our Facebook group. And what's the link for that?
It's at Life Unconventional.
That's it. She created it. I have no clue.
Instagram, Life Unconventional 2023. Stay tuned for next week.